Polaria, gift of the white stone. You got this, man? Did you ever get one of these? Yeah, Polaria. So he took all 9 books, broke them down, changed up the mythology to Middle Eastern instead of Egyptian, because he didn't want them to get on his tracks. Ain't nobody to Kenneth Grant. And he put out the one book, Polaria, snuck into this country, had it released through the Brotherhood of the Brotherhood of Life publication in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he broke out with Polaria. So broke out with Polaria and put all the other books in this one little book, Polaria, which is like the master's fucking stroke. Is this piece of this book right here, a Polaria. So he put out the one book. Now, so for the collectors, he put out the 9th book, which is all coded because you got to have all 9 books to understand the whatchamacallit and all. But me, brother Richard King, I think Alvin here, got all the books and stuff. So the 9th book had to come to the United States. So when I go to fucking New York, they got the 9th book. I go to get it and all, but you got to have all 9 books to access it. You got to have the one from 1980 that they didn't put out again at all. And I'm getting ready to drop something they said in that particular book in a few minutes, why they wouldn't release that particular book, which you got to be tapping into in a few minutes. Now y'all follow me. Okay. So I go to New York, pick up the 9th book. Book $45. Because it's coming from England, I had to pay damn near $80 for the motherfucker. But I said, what the hell? That's the last one. And it's all this, and now that you got all what you call it, it's just codes and numbers and graphs and stuff like that. And what you call it, but I want to show, but this one little thing was worth the whole $80. Was this one little thing right here. Drop this on you. Y'all bear with me. Y'all alright? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna drop this on you. Let's see. A few minutes now. Now see. Hold up 1 minute. Let me get this. Bear with me 1 minute. But the book you want to get, the one that comprises all this, he's stuck in America. You want to get Polaria. You want to get to Polaria. So there's a way to get around it by getting this one book. What he did is combine several chapters in 1 or 2 pages. So you get in 1 or 2 pages, he combined it and work it all up in there. You see what I'm saying? So it's a master stroke. All right. Now, bring it to the people. All right now. Bear with me 1 minute. You want to get this? Put it on tape. Exhibit 15. All right now. Let's see what we got here. He's talking about something called Kamson. 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 Kamson is what we're looking for. Kamson is a strong wind that begins stirring the onslaughts and marked the figure that shattered the panic of terror. So he's talking about this thing called Kamson. Let's see what Kamson is. Kamson. Kamsen. Kamson. See what Kamson is. The crazy elemental dance that swept beneath the air of the whirling desert. Kamson is the dreaded windstorm that blasts into the land of Kim in dog days at the annual rise of the great waters. The literal meaning of Kamson is the Arabic Kamsin, which means 50. The word derived from the Kamite, Kamsin, which the winds of 50 burning winds of the hot days attributed to the god Set. 50 is enumerated in the number Nun, S-U-N, fish, and attributed to the Cherokee entitled death. There, 50 is the orbital period of Sirius B. So Kamson is a strong wind that comes in the desert. He even says in the Arabian desert, a strong wind. So when we first went into Iraq, the First thing happened was it was a strong wind that went up into Iraq. And they couldn't even fight for 2 or 3 days. But the damn Arabs could fight in the shit and was shooting and could shoot up in there. That was spirits. So that was an indication that they had gone into a spiritual war, and they were getting their ass whipped, and by the end of that war, they put the distress signal up, and they had to get the hell up out of there. Oh, we killed Saddam Hussein. Yet they ain't showed you him or Bin Laden. But that's good enough for you, but they had to get the hell up out of there. But not before they went in there and dropped bombs trying to block down this gateway and looted those artifacts and cleaned all that out. Never take nothing you see on the TV set. Ain't no Arabs looted nothing. They got all that out. You see. They got all of that, all of that particular stuff out. Now, what's going on? All right, y'all all right?
All right.
Okay. Let's go on. Let's see here. What is going down? First of all, my man was talking about a pyramid built yesterday that reached around the planet. Do you know you go down to Georgia, you got this red clay in Georgia. Do you know they say that they got a clay belt that reaches around the planet Earth? You know how you see them set them planets and they see the rings around those planets?
Right.
They said there's a clay belt and they got some of that same clay that they show in Africa, in Australia or whatever, which proves that it was all one landmass at one time, and in one section of the landmass, that clay where Georgia was a part of a whole belt that reached around the earth. Yes. You know, and they got that same clay in some parts of Africa. You see, and maybe in South America, which was fit up all in there at one place at one time. Just very key, I want to put that particular part up there. Now, all right, so this particular clay, this particular Ishtar is this particular goddess that they also went up in there to get, because she was a goddess that promised to unleash the dead from the underworld. So what are the dead from the underworld to? Get the spookism out of that. Your soul is asleep in your body. That is the dead from the underworld. So what she was saying was, I'm getting ready to free you to go to the next damn level. So they had to go up in there to try to stop that energy by bombing certain portholes and stuff to shut down Ishtar. How stupid of them. Because it's in the humans. The people that used to live in that area and all the areas of the sacred geometry now live in America. That's us. Now this is where it all ties in. Okay, I go to Houston, I do this lecture, I tell them to go buy me some honey. I say, go buy me some honey so I can take the honey for my voice. I'm doing the lecture, I get all hyped up, I do 2 lectures, do 7 hours one day, do 8 hours the next day. I'm in the hotel room, I say, damn, I never used the honey. The spirits say, why not build me an altar? I said, oh shit, I know who you are. You the goddess Oshun. Now I have no idea why she's coming and why should I build an altar. But all I know, I said, okay. So I went home, forgot about it. On that Tuesday, I'm laying on the bed. She said, get up and go take that damn honey and build me an altar. I said, okay then, shit. I said, well, I need a yellow sheet. I go in the room and I got an old Thunderdog altar, which is another Native American entity that went to another level, and his sheet was yellow. I said, well, shit, this is easy. All I got to do is put a whole bunch of stuff on the altar and put the honey on the altar and build her an altar. Build her an altar. So I put the honey up there. I put a couple of the artifacts up there, and I build this damn altar. Well, what in the fuck did I put that damn honey on that fucking altar? Because I put that honey on that altar, and that motherfucker came in that damn house, and for 3 fucking weeks, she pimped me like a $2 hoe. I'm going, where's this shit going? All I knew is I had to take care of the altar. Take care of the damn altar. I'm all up in New York the next week. I'm in New York. I put the altar, I go to New York the next week. I'm all over New York looking for all kind of shit. Because she said she likes a mirror, hand mirror, a fan, some combs. So I started getting the fan, hand mirror, combs. I'm all up in New York trying to look for shit. I had that old Shun book about 3-4 times. I always give it away. She said, motherfucker, go get my book. So I had to go look for the damn book again. The one put out by this particular book, Oshun, the Elegant Deity. Now this is related to this. Now stick with me in a few minutes so I can explain this. I'm going to tie this into this.
Okay.
Now this way it comes into the spirit working. Now I'm going to explain this thing down to the T on what's going on. So you can understand why certain things had to be in Iraq. And at the same time that's going on, all this shit, we get ready to go to war. Now, number one, let me explain this too. I want to explain this to you before I go into that. I want to explain something else too, so you understand this. So you understand what's going on. The front side of the tree of life, that I showed the tree of life with the Kabbalah. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Very important. You must understand this. The front side of the tree of life is called the Sephra. And there's gods that sit upon here that represent the world that we live in. Those gods have been in creation for 13 billion years. The gods that used to rule prior to the 13 billion years have been dormant and sleeping for 13 billion years, which is your souls.
Right.
Which are now ready to illuminate. All right? Okay? These gods are dying, except the women gods. They're the Alpha and the Omega. The goddesses don't ever do shit. They ain't going to goddamn place. You can hang that shit up. They are in the beginning. They'll be in the end. So, the masculine energies of these Sephras are dying. The government wants an extension in order for these gods to live. I'll give you the crux of what the war is about. These gods need human sacrifice. Birds, chickens, and frogs won't do. They have to have human sacrifice, and they have to have melanin sacrifice. So to give these gods an extension so that they can live, because they were dying out, they're called a demiurge, they go to Rwanda and kill 800,000 Africans to feed to the gods. It's in the book of Mahabharata. Every time the gods need feeding, they have a war down on the earth. They fight the war, they kill so many souls, and they eat that melanin energy, and the gods get revitalized. It's in the movie The Dark Crystal. When they took the essence out, and he was revitalized for a minute, but they were so old, he just went back down. They just dried back up. So, in the Mahabharata, they start a war on the earth to fight the war so those older entities that's dying can feed on the melanin entities on the earth. So they go to Rwanda and kill 800,000 to sacrifice to these particular entities. Mainly your masculine entities in all cults. The male chauvinist murder cult, masculine entities. So they go and they sacrifice these humans in war. So they go in and do the Rwanda. Unfortunately, it didn't work because those are intercontinental Africans, and the energy that these gods need to survive, or would need to survive, they're so old now till it don't matter, it's got to be souls that were mixed with all portions of the indigenous Africans, which are the Africans in the Western Hemisphere, especially the ones in America that has every African nation in their bloodline. And the Native American and the Olmec, we got it all inside of us. So the last time they had a war that they could eat from on that level was Vietnam. So the key was they needed to send the Africans or the black people or the indigenous people or the Moors from America who they can be sure it's got all the bloodlines up in them, because we got some of everything up in us. That's why we the most creative. Ain't nothing like a damn Negro, American brand of Negro. We are a unique brand of Negro. Ain't nothing like us. You know what I'm saying? We can't figure us out. And it is dangerous to try to. You know? So, they need to take these soldiers, which was 75%. That's why they show you all the white ones. And put them on the front line to get killed. So that they can somehow feed these older entities that's dying to revitalize them. That's what this shit is about. See, the war is a multiplicity of things. But one of the things was to get some black people from over here, kill them up. That's why the first motherfucking Christopher Atticus nigga to die in the war was a black man. And a fucking Moor, some big guy. You know. Now, to energize them. But those entities are so old until even the most the most mutated type of bloodline or illuminated type of bloodline, which has all of the doggone African nations in them, which makes it the most ancient because we got all of the stuff in it, that won't even help those entities because they're already dead. Meanwhile, Omagumu, Shumala, Labrador, and 10,000 legions of our entities is over there. And although they don't need the blood to rise, they eat upon that energy also. And they get illuminated. And that's when they say we lost the fucking war. Because they went to go feed the gods that they wanted to rise up to keep the matrix going. And the gods, when they got over there, was right in Labrador's backyard because his shrine is over there, Labu. And those entities ate the entities that they killed. Even the Arabs that was over there in Cabal, which was 80% blue-black niggas. And it ain't nothing but, damn, it ain't nothing but, well, it's legions of them, but it's 10 major ones of those goddesses, 2 or 3 generals. Hell, they didn't need no more than 4 or 5 niggas to eat off of. They at least got 130 as they reported. Somebody say it's something close to 1,000 that got died in America. But if they don't put it on the news, you don't know. And they said it might be more than that died. So, Labrador and them had a frenzy. And they got strong. So when they looked up, how they monitor the energy, they looked up and said, oh shit, we done fucked up. We done woke these motherfuckers up. We done fed them. And our ones, we put the plates out for them, they ain't eating. This is the shit that's going down. All right now. Bear with me. So that's what's going down. They needed to feed. They brought you in there to feed, and our boys got them. Eat them up. Don't feel bad for them. Them niggas died for a worthy cause. They only empowering their own souls. Eat them up. Eat them up. Time to go. Now, in so many words, they go to get Ishtar. They go to try to shut down this feminine energy. In the book, Richard Barron's book, The Lost Scrolls of King Solomon, Richard Barron's book, The Lost Scrolls of King Solomon, they say our job in Israel as the fake Jews is to keep down the Lilith energy. And the Lilith energy is the Kundalini energy. And the sexual Shakti energy. Meanwhile, when they're shooting that beam down in the earth, Harp is shooting the beam to put the Kundalini energy back down in the earth, they giving everybody little sex drives. So it ain't nothing to go celebrate shit. You ain't feeling a tingle no way. You see what I'm saying? You know, y'all won't watch no porn, so ain't no stimulant or whatever and stuff like that, no. So you get to the point of sex, but I just don't feel like it. You don't know that the government is affecting that shit by shooting the energy down. Now, they say that our job is to keep the Kundalini energy or the Lilith energy. Well, the Hebrew thing, they know, they say, well, hell, we got all our shit from the damn people over here in Iraq and stuff. So they say in that case, we got to go to Iraq where this stuff comes from, and they're going to try to stop Ishtar's energy. Now try to understand this. When these gods are not worshipped in years, Ishtar, Astarte, they have to go to the goddesses and the gods that were worshipped. So Ishtar is a promiscuous deity. This is the same God that I talked about, and that took on 20 men, 20 or 30 men, and fucked them all, and they was all on the ground, laid down, tired. She's like, come on. That's Ishtar. She's a whore if you ever seen one. She can like push out of both front legs. This one right here. Ishtar, Astarte, she's a goddess of fertility. You see what I'm saying? That's a good thing. Even Jesus knew that. I raised up the motherfucker gonna give me some booty. He's a black man now. Even in the mythology, he's a black man. You know, we hang around the girls that don't give us some booty. You know what I'm saying? That's just mathematically sound. More for your money. Alright. So Ishtar is a promiscuous deity. And in this book, they say that, man, she is this a harlot. Well, Lilith is the harlot, it's the same entity, is the harlot, but Ishtar is a harlot. God bless Ishtar. A Babylonian goddess, Ishtar was originally maybe a Sumerian Akkadian goddess, composite of several entities. Ishtar is the mother goddess of fertility, a goddess of spring, storms, warrior goddess, a goddess of war, a goddess of the hunt, a goddess of love, marriage, childbirth, faith, the goddess of divine personification in the planet Venus. You see, she is an underworld deity. She is the predominant aspects of the mother goddess, compassionate goddess of sex and war. That's my kind of goddess. The sexual aspect of her persona is linked with the earth's fertility and stuff. So she is the one that the Jews were saying Lilith, but that mythology just died out. So we got to go after Ishtar. But Ishtar, that energy has been worshipped. They're worshiping Allah over there. So who is the goddess of fertility that has been worshipped? Oshun. She will straight up give a nigga some straight up trim based on this. She don't mind getting up off the booty. You see what I'm saying? So now it all comes together. So what is this mug got me running all over town buying her shit for the altar? So what ended up being one tall altar with a sheet over a tall wooden object and a candle and a couple of things ended up being a complete side of my living room. With everything yellow you can name. And for 3 weeks she worked me like a dog. And it's hard because I ain't got no car, so I got to get up. She had me out in the bus stop in the fucking rain. She said, get the fuck up and go get my goddamn mirror. So I went to look for a hand mirror and I found a mirror with the moon. She said, that's the... So she led me to get that mirror and I put that mirror on the wall around with her stuff. And I mean, it's just, the whole room, whole side of the thing is covered with her shit. But I said, well, shit, you know. So So I said, well, shit, in that case, I'm saying, you know, you the goddess of elegant beauty and femininity and real pristine and vanity. I said, well, shit, I'm going to get you some yellow high heel shoes. What the fuck I say that shit for? She had me out in the goddamn ring, get us some yellow high heel sandals. Man, what the fuck? Every time I said, well, shit, I'm gonna get you some high heel sandals. She's like, oh yeah. So she had me out in the rain. Had another nigga drive me downtown. He had to circle the block about 9 times. I go in a woman's store and get some yellow high heel sandals. I found them. Then I passed by some gold ones. Nah, fuck, she got the yellow ones. Went home, go to sleep. She said, get up and go get my goddamn gold sandals. Had to go back out and get the gold high heel sandals. Put them on the altar. So I got all this particular stuff. So the other sister said, oh, she liked it. She really likes this type of stuff you're doing for her and all. I said, well, shit. How about giving me some booty? So she was like, well, shit, all you got to do is know how to receive me. I said, well, how to receive you? She said, open your legs. I said, yeah, okay. Next morning, I opened up my legs, and boy, she got busy. I said, this shit is real. Okay. I completed getting most of her stuff the day before the war started. I was feeding her. The day before the war started, got the whole house full of shit. The war starts, the brothers and everybody around me can't go, especially the males, we sleeping, we can't damn wake up. We can't wake up. So we can't wake up. So I'm sitting there go, man, what is this shit all for? I'm broke. But then I got a damn water bill, get me cut off the water Monday. I got the light bill, all these bills in pile. I said, come on now, goddamn, I done fed your ass and did all that. So Sister Kimberly said, no. You mostly rescuing her than she rescuing you. I said, yeah, well, I said, I do that. I said, I kind of do that. And I said, oh, when she said that, my mind started to click, and I said, oh, I get it now. The whole concept here is, this goddess represents the fallen daughter. They say she's a composite deity. So she's the goddess over the RJ, the witches. That's all the spirit Wiccans or the spirit magical workers. And I'm in South Carolina talking about it, and Santissima Muerte came up and said, well, shit, I'm the goddess over the witches too. I said, damn, you're right. So I said, oh, I get it now. You and Oshun is one in the damn same. But there's over the goddess, the RJ. Now, this is what the deal is. You got a Legbar, which is the god of the crossroads in the Yoruba. He's the male entity, and he's on his way out because that represents the older cycle. Oshun was cheated out of her half of the earth, but she represented a goddess, the youngest goddess from the old cycle. Her mother is Yeminya, and Yeminya's oldest form is Olokun. Oshun represents the Mayafian figure, or the future goddess. But remember now, these other goddesses is dead because they don't call their name. They say to remember the gods, you got to call their names. Well, she got 1 billion people worshiping her and 1 million white people giving her goddamn shit. So she's rich in energy. But she needed to be rescued into opening up a porthole in the Western Hemisphere. So what I found out was they were going over to try to shut down something with Ishtar, some type of stargate. Right before war, she possessed me to build this altar, which was symbolic of an invisible porthole in the Western Hemisphere. I said, oh, I get it now. There's a reason why you possessed me for 3 weeks to build this damn altar. And why I gotta cook food, I gotta feed you too. You know. And I said, there's a reason. And the altar was symbolic of a porthole that's open in the West. That's the porthole that the Jews vowed to shut down. the Lilith energy. So they go over to Ishtar, which is older than the Lilith character. It's the same entity, and try to shut it down in Iraq. And that's why before the war started, she had me to get her altar in place in her mirror. And I said, well, damn, if Legbar has a gateway to the other universe, which is a pole, what is your gateway? And her mirror is the gateway to the other universe. So that's the first one I got, is a mirror on the wall, which is with a moon in it, a gold mirror. Then I ended up finding 5 yellow hand mirrors. Thus completed the altar, but it is symbolic of a gateway in this particular universe. And it had to come through her, because it had to be a God that was worshipped in that name, that had that much energy of people putting these altars together and doing all this kind of stuff to give that kind of energy. Now she is connected with the 3 entities, or 3 or 4, the feminine entities that I just gave you, the 10 entities, but they say she is the God of femininity and the goddess over all women. You see, so there's 24 of her, there's 24 Urzuli in voodoo. So most of the entities in these older systems are dead now, because the Nigerians have pimped that shit to death. You got $4,000, you can be up out loud. They done cut off more chicken heads and bird heads and this shit. But that's the system. But the goddess has nothing to do with the religion. That's just the religion that was formed around her. But the energy is the same. Ishtar energy they're looking for is the Oshun energy, but they had to get it outside of the hands of all these old practitioners. Because the only thing they're doing is building, is feeding them so that they somehow be blessed by them to live harmoniously on the earth. And what she was doing was saying, no, we got to come to the shit where we can get the war started and manifest the divine feminine. So the porthole that she came when she came was actually symbolic of a feminine porthole that is opened up in the west. You see, it's opened up in the west. And that's what's going down with this type of stuff. So we got the power. So when the grease hit my hand, she healed the shit to show the power. To show the doggone power. Now, then she jumped on me one night sexually. I was like, God damn. What shit is this, man? I woke up and shit with a handful of goo. Like I said in the Parliament Funkadelic, it was dreaming of Venus, which is a star-tated goddess, Venus, when he took out his penis and woke up with a handful of goo. I said, shit. I said, damn, I ain't had a damn wet dream since I was 12. I said, well, I'm going to put this shit on the altar. So I called Kim and I said, did she like that shit? Did she like that milkshake I put on the altar? She said, ooh, I like that. I said, I bet them niggas in Europe don't be doing no shit like that. She said, oh, this is a treat. I said, yeah, that good old milkshake, that good old milkshake on your ass. So they don't fucking infamy a little Similac either. It's the premium shit. So, that porthole is opened up. So what we're saying here is, we got the damn power. The shit is here now. The shit is here now. But the first thing is this here now. So Kenneth Grant writes a book, get the book. Come out with a book in 1980. The government said, no, you don't need to be putting this shit together. So he come out a book, Outside the Circle of Time, in 1980. So I got one. Alvin found one. I had to find one. They saw I was black. They said $150. I said, all right, fuck it. And stuff. That's what you do when you deal with out-of-print books. Now look at this. This is what you must do. If humanity is, so I know everybody told you about celebrating life and all the shit you can do when you was human. And come on, let's be honest with this shit. This shit is to no avail. You know what I'm saying? I know that you all want to live a harmonious life and shit like that. But it's a good thing the white man got rent and taxes and all that shit to let you know that you're going to be on lockdown until you find a way up out of this shit right here. And if they don't fuck with you, your children damn sure It's going to make sure that your life is miserable. All this shit is spiritual. To let you give up trying to be human when you're supposed to be becoming gods and becoming the monsters. Check it out. Now, he wrote this book, Outside the Circles of Time, a chapter called A Monstrous Soul. And I'll put it on the tape. Get the tape. It says, become a monster. Become a monster and escape that pathway. That alone is the doorway to the Darthian porthole of darkness, of total darkness. I have told you that all avenues of escape are blocked. But in truth, there is a doorway of becoming a monster. By becoming the beast, so that thereby you can escape by the very door you came through. You know what they talking about when they talking about that shit? Thank God. Know also that this door is always open and that ingress is beyond a constant threat. Remember, that hole there says she gonna break down the doors. You see what I'm saying? Thank God for her. When I say this, and see, that puts us on the same level. See, all I'm doing is talking about ourselves, our souls. So when I call her a hoe, you slut, scallywag, all I'm doing here is I'm putting this thing back that we are part of that whole God realm, and you don't need to be worshiping no shit. That's the problem here. You worshiping these motherfuckers when these motherfuckers are you. Till you understand this and shit, you trapped. You see? It's all about you. Now, slowly they are awakening. Therefore the door has always been created, and you must put on the mask and the skins of animals and other horrible monsters and hellish astral beings, entities. And by this means only the magician can escape this universe into the next system of worlds. We are seeking to set a certain magical specifics in the matter, and there cannot be anything else given as advice, because the very mouth of hell is opening, and the demons of the 11th pathway is opening this sphere. So you must become the monster. Now what do they mean by that? Well, to become the monster is a rites of passage, which means that in so many words, and I've been talking about this thing for years, you got to give up all forms of piety and righteousness. You know what I'm saying? All forms of piety and righteousness. You know what I'm saying? So start by farting in your husband's face. You got to break down these systems of what is, these systems of respect that has turned you into a dead being. You see what I'm saying? You know, you got to break down these systems that have turned you into this religious monster of piety and good social behavior. It's a psychological thing. If you can do it mentally, you don't have to do it physically. They're saying become the monster. They're talking about a new mindset. But you're not going to get it by being good. You're the good acting people, and your children is the one locked up in prison. So what is that sign saying to you? The curse is you started believing in a religion that was meant for the younger people on the earth and not you. Remember, Muhammad and them used to tell you that the Islam that the Muslims, the white Arabs is practicing was nothing but tailored off of the nature of the black man and black woman. And they are following the nature of you, but you don't supposed to be following the book. This, your own body and your own nature. You're supposed to be becoming the supreme deity. You see, so you have to become the monster. So what I want you to do is build you an Oshun altar. She like all things sweet. She like honey. She like the yellow candles, yellow cloth. She like a fan. There's three things you gotta get. You gotta get some yellow comb, a fan, and a yellow hand mirror. I had to go to a dollar store to get that shit. The dollar store got every damn thing. You go to regular shit, you might not get nothing. All the shit that they don't sell no more, you gotta go to the damn dollar store to find that shit. You know, you want to get all things that you want to get. Then you want to get creative. She likes liquor too. She drinks the hell out of that. She likes the Three Sisters, which is a composite of Gordon's Gin and Windsor Canadian whiskey, or R&R Rich and Rare Canadian whiskey. You mix both of them together. Gordon's London Dry Gin and Windsor Canadian whiskey. She really likes that. She drinks the hell out of that Three Sisters. And that's the Three Sisters. Oteja THA, which is the healing mechanism. Also too, you know, does wonders. But and as a matter of fact, when you start mutating, this is going to be some of the only stuff that can heal you. Is that shit that the goddesses brought, the three goddesses brought, that elixir. When you start mutating, this is going to be the only shit that heals you, because actually it's not the liquor. This is the vessel in which they get in your body and go to work. So when my hand got burned up, in order to save all of this so it don't look like a damn what they had to do was, Oteja THA came along with Oshuna. They was all working on my hand at the same time. So it was hurting a little bit for like 10 minutes, and then the hurt stopped, and then it started burning. I said, well, that's some healing shit there. It was a burning like a niacin or some kind of heat, like some Bengay or some shit. I said, oh, they healing this shit. And I went to bed, and for a week, my hand was just like this until it just started peeling and started coming into new skin the other day. So that's the type of stuff. So get some stuff and build an altar. Build an altar and start feeding them so that this porthole can open and get stronger. So I told you to build a lavado altar, because that's lavado and locayo, the two entities and stuff, which consists of things blue and a dragon. So what you want to build an Oshun altar, she like a lot of sweet shit. She like bananas, but you need a fan. You got to get a fan. Try to get a yellow fan or something with gold or yellow. Yellow fan, yellow hand mirror. She got to have that hand mirror because she's real vain. Homegirl's a damn trip now. Homegirl is something else. She's a, you know what I'm saying, real vain. And she like all things nice and stuff. And she like a necklace. Necklace, mirror. These are the essential things. Hand mirror, necklace, fan, and comb. And an African comb or a comb. If you can get it all in yellow, go to that dollar store. Or go to them Koreans. They got all that shit. That damn, if you go to the dollar store, you're going to find all that shit. Shit that they don't sell in the white people neighborhood, they don't sell anything more, you can find that shit in the dollar store. But she also likes expensive things too. But she likes bananas, oranges, lots of fruits and stuff like that. And she likes all kind of food. She likes seafood, like shrimps and stuff like that too. You know, she likes expensive shit too. So, you know, I mean, you know, and stuff. So, start feeding. But what it is Juju used to tell me, they grow stronger. You ain't got to worry about the male assholes because they dead. So you want to do this and stuff to build that altar to get it, because when you build it, the porthole is opening. Now she references, now all these other goddesses include, because I asked Locayo and Oteja and all them, they said, oh, that's my girl. Shit, fuck it. Open that shit up. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's going on. We talk about the triple goddess, which means all these goddesses is connected. Because she's also the goddess Hecate, which is also the triple goddess. And stuff like that, and open this particular science up, open this thing up, and stuff. She likes liquor, and you take honey, and if you get us like she like that pound cake, you get us some pound cakes and some damn vanilla wafers and some shit. You pour the honey over all of that. She like all that shit. You see what I'm saying? She like all that, and she does hook up. It's the financial thing will come like somebody will knock on your door and ask you to do something. You get money like that. It don't come by way of some, her just materializing something for you, although she says she can do it. And I'm trying to get her to do this shit and all, but she's a royalty. She beat the whole damn drum. You know, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? She's a billion damn years old. But she's very young too, because so she likes, now, this is the magic to the altar. I just gave you the essential things. Now, what you be created to your altar is the more energy you give her by being creative. You know what I'm saying? You know, being creative. Her color is also blue, but for some reason, I'm dealing with most of the yellow. And stuff like that, most of the yellow. It was fitting because the sister wore the whole yellow thing, the whole yellow outfit right back here and stuff. Today I said, damn, I said, oh shit, I said, I'm waiting, somebody gonna come up in this motherfucker with a whole yellow outfit on, and she came with the yellow shit on. And it always happens that way, because when I spoke in South Carolina, there was a whole room painted yellow. I'm like, god damn. And it was freshly painted yellow. Freshly painted yellow. And so, I knew some stuff was working. I said, shit, I went down one aisle to find some stuff and ran into the yellow candles, and I wasn't even thinking about doing on no altar. And I said, oh shit, here she come now. She done come back a month and said, put me up an altar right here. You see what I'm saying and all, you see? And so that's, I get this up the street and stuff. So that's the kind of concept you got to do. But it's a porthole that's opening. And the energy is getting stronger. Meanwhile, she sets over the whole world of RJ, these witches, these hellish entities that's going to kick ass. And that's what they was doing over in Iraq. That's what they was doing over in Iraq. So that's what you want to deal with now. What time we got?
9:35.
How much time we got in here?
How much time you want?
About an hour? Who said how much time?
No. How much time you want?
Well, let me just go until let me go until.
Well, okay. If you finna start something new, can we take a break so everybody can just stretch or something? If you go into something new.
What you think? Okay, yeah. Okay, well, let me see. Let's see here. Hold on 1 minute. Let me see. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to see here that I cover all the stuff and all. Because what we can do is how many hours we done did on the tape already?
Shoot. 7 and 15 minutes.
On the tape?
Yeah.
So we did 7 hours.
Yeah, man, you rock it.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
Like you just started.
Yeah, you have what you report. I tell you what, then you want to do a question and answer now?
I'm gonna go into question and answer now.
Okay, let's
so
do
we
that.
can get that going. Since we did the 7 hours, I want to go into the question and answer right now. So we can do that now. Yeah, I pretty much covered. Get the movie Monsters Inc. Real key movie. Because, you know, they have to deal with the children's dreams because your shit is shut down. But remember that little girl came up in there and the motherfucker was scared of her? That was a hell of a damn movie. They were scared of her. Monsters Inc. It's a child's movie, but it's the serious shit. Yep.
And that blue is all through that movie.
Alright, let me tell you. You know the movie got some stuff when they premiere it on. It came on Stars and it came on Saturday night. Saturday night is when the cable premium premiere the real movies that they want to say is their premium top shit. That shit came on Saturday night. I said, this ain't no slow leak here. That Monsters Inc. was hell. Yeah, get that particular movie. That particular movie. Let's see here. What is also happening here is a goddess called Olokun. Olokun is the great mother, Tiamat, that was overthrown in Yoruba. She's Olokun. And Olokun started to rise, which later on is she's Olokun, then she turns into Yemenya, and Yemenya is the mother of Oshun. So Oshun represents the energy of the gateway of the fallen mother on that particular aspect. That particular Olokun is a particular entity. There's a book out on her too. There's a book out on Olokun that just came out and stuff like that. But it's nothing but the same fallen Tiamat of the fallen Apep, Aphotis. So let's go into a question and answer right quick. So what happened was, I also said here is, because they stuck in the systems, the people in the Yoruba system, they will go and get the Oshun book and think that's all there is. And they'll understand, in order to understand Oshun, she's the god that sets over the Ajay, the witches. So the goddess that sets over the witches in ancient history, which is also, so you have to cross-reference things. They're only going to go and deal with that, and they're not going to get no more information, but it's fragmented. You can't do that. You got to get Hecate. Hecate is, this book is called The Rotting Goddess, The Origin of the Witch in Classical Antiquity, by Jacob Rabinowitz, Jacob Rabinowitz, the running goddess, and that's the goddess Hecate. That's Oshun. That's Santissima Moete. But this is the book to get to try to understand. You want to get the Oshun book by, let me see if they spell it the right way in here. What's the person's name? D-I-E-D-R-E-L-B-A-D-E-J-O. D-I-E-D-R-E-L-B-I-D-E-J-O. That's Oshun, the elegant deity of wealth, power, and femininity. But this is a book, but it's coming off of West African fragments, which is an excellent book. But to go deeper into that, you want to get Hecate, the writing goddess, by Jacob Rabinowitz. This is how you study things. Then to go deeper into that, you want to cross-reference, you want to get this book, look up Hecate, then look up what they say compared to.
What's the name of that one?
This book here is the Dictionary of All Ancient Deities. This is the baddest shit on the planet. This is a must-have. You won't be able to put this down and all the other stuff because it's got them all in it. It's got every single one of the African. They even got Diop in this motherfucker. So you know they wasn't bullshitting around. Crackers don't put Diop in shit. They got shit into Diop in this book as one of their references. I said, man, this shit is tight. It's got Diop up in here. You see. So they got Diop up in this damn book as their references of the West African shit. So they wasn't playing. By Patricia Turner and Charles Russell Coulter, C-O-U-L-T-E-R, the Dictionary of All Ancient Deities, and cross-reference these things and try to understand more of the goddess. Just remember that all of the goddesses are one. Now there's a goddess called Athene. Read, when you get this book, read on Athena. Athena, mama, was swallowed by Zeus. That's the demiurge. That's the father that sets over the matrix. So, the mama was swallowed by Zeus. Zeus gets a damn headache, and his head is hurting so bad, he gets this other guy to take an axe and split his head open, and Athene is born out of his head. So she represents a pineal warrior, a pineal gland, and she also brings forth an olive tree. Olive oil, olive, that's dealing with the whole pineal gland and melanin. So the goddess Athena, which is a black goddess, is a warrior goddess, very tall and a warrior goddess, Athena or Athena. Read up on Athena when you get this book of ancient deities. It's the most amazing things and stuff like that. And all these goddesses and goddesses is connected. You see what I'm saying? What's that?
In the Wonder Woman comic book, the goddess Athena was her patron saint.
Was her patron saint in Wonder Woman? Ain't that something? Wow. From Atlantis. Hot damn. Hot diggity damn. So get that particular book. You know, so let's go into a question and answer. What's that, sister, that we're going to start? What's that? Yeah, the three sisters is, I'm going to give you, I gave you three sisters. Did I give you the other one too? Did I give you the other formulas?
Well, you gave us the formulas last time.
I gave you three. Did I give you any more though? I gave you three sisters, so I'm going to give you two more. I'm going to give you the three sisters, and then I'm going to give you some Cacumbo. That's some dynamite shit too. No, El Cristo Negro, that's who it is. El Cristo Negro. The three sisters comprise of Otetia, T.H. and Shayola. And that is Gordon's London Dry Gin, a Windsor Canadian whiskey. You mix them both together. Half and half. Mix them together. And let them, you know, and you can start drinking it right then, but if it sits over a day, it gets even better. I had some shit that they mixed up last year in Houston. When I came back, they had drunk one bottle and still had a bottle under the cabinet. Some year-old elixir. And Oshun drunk the hell about that shit. She drunk all that shit down there. And stuff. But it was some good mellow stuff. So that's the elixir. You mix those together, and it's a cure-all. You can drink it for social spirits when you're partying, because you can get the energy on a certain level, or you can heal with it. But you must call on the three entities, Otetia, T.H. and Shayola.
You mentioned two liquors.
Yeah. Windsor Canadian whiskey, And Gordon's London Dry Gin or any London Dry Gin. But try the Gordon. Y'all can get that, or y'all can get on any kind of liquor up here, shit. It's a land of liquor. But Windsor Canadian whiskey, but some good one is R&R Canadian whiskey too. Rich and Red, that's a good one too. Now, that's that one. There's another one is El Cristo Negro. It's a powerful one too. And that is any white rum you can get with the Windsor Canadian whiskey or the R&R. Rich and Rare Canadian whiskey. White rum and Canadian whiskey. That's the El Cristo Negro. You can call on him. They all work good. That's another elixir. El Cristo Negro. Now, she has one that I put together, but she like all these other too. But you can fix her a special with every now and then. But you got to keep it in the refrigerator. And that's so soon. That's white rum. You put lemon juice in it and honey. And mix it and make a lemonade out of that shit with honey. And put a little vanilla extract up in that motherfucker or some vanilla flavoring. Oh, and she likes that shit. And but you gotta put it in the refrigerator because the lemons can go rancid. But it's cool. She likes that shit too. She told me to do that the other night, and it was cool and stuff. But she drinks the hell out of all that other stuff too. She's just a real drunk. But so she does that too. So that's what that is. What's that, brother?
My question is,
Yeah.
how does one go about securing the environment? You know, invoking these entities. How do one go about securing this environment and keep out intruders? And is one test? Are the residuals come through yet, or what do we have? What do we have to use? What can I use to test the authenticity of the of any of these experiences?
You got the names. Invoke the names. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You invoke the names and stuff. And work with them. Work with them to your own liking. Remember, whatever ritual you do is the one that you make up. Because you can't be going by the old systems. You got to go by the system based on you and your energy as a god or goddess. So what you conjure up is that particular way. You see what I'm saying? So just work with it on that level.
And then also, when you're dealing with the spirits, your intent is what calls them to you. So if you feel it in your heart when you call their name, they'll feel it and hear it and come to you. They'll respond to that strongly.
Yeah. Your sincerity is your credentials. You see, like that and all. But you got to believe. Don't be doing this. I'm just going to see just in case. I really believe in Jesus. It ain't going to work. They tell you go ask Jesus, motherfucker.
Put JC on the side.
Huh?
Put JC on the side.
Yeah. Stuff like that now. So you got to really understand this thing. This is real power and stuff. You see what I'm saying? So who else had one? What's that?
Yeah, you talk about books. Some of the books you can't get. Why didn't they want you with them books? Because they claim we don't read books, no way.
Yeah, and then some of them some of them I've actually, when I started talking about them, they took them out of print. They do that. Other ones, they might just run the particular cycle, and because it's not really a literary society, we buy more entertainment books and inspiration books like a Glass Knight Rider book. You dumbass motherfuckers to go buy a book with a fucking idiot like Gladys Knight. Now what kind of elevation you gonna get by reading Gladys Knight's book? Or Diana Ross. These lost ass motherfuckers. So every nigga cut loose write a damn book, or Cuba Gooding Jr., or anybody write a damn book, you go out and burn up your sacred energy reading the book of a fucking asshole nigga. Making them rich, and they ain't giving you no knowledge. This particular time, you should be reading for fucking entertainment. You should be reading for knowledge. First of all, I'm going to be honest with you. What we found out was that mostly from high school to college education is basically a training. In all honesty, what the white man didn't get you to understand was your education started after you graduated college or high school. They gave you the tools of training to deductive reasoning, which you don't really need to go to college to do. And your training is how you went about finding about knowledge of self. and all of this. And that is the only education there is. So in so many words, there is no such thing as he educating you. He only train you to then go into education. Education follows after. You go to college and all these places and get certified by the fucking crowd. Otherwise, you would be up in here listening to me, a motherfucker who can't spell. See what I'm saying? So there's no such thing as no damn education on that particular level. You know. So you're on that particular level. What's that, brother, than you? And yeah, what's that?
I bought a book by that Dr. York had called The Holy Tablet.
Yeah.
It has some information in there about the Numa Elise.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, the Numa Elise stuff, what Dr. York did is this here. He had a whole council of people, and they went out and they just would get all these books and put it all together and attribute it to him. So they basically plagiarized different things. They did a lot of work with Zachariah Sitchin's work. He didn't write none of that shit. And he had a group of people write that stuff, and then they say he did it. It was a scam thing they did. But the Numa Elise, if you get this book, the Stephanie Daly's book or Dolly's book, you will get